This program is for educational purposes only. Before starting any health or exercise-related program, consult your physician. Welcome to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem. Dr. Tony is the clinical director of the Body Pro Wellness Center in Santa Ana, California. He believes that maximizing your health is critical in order to function at your best for yourself, your family, and most importantly for God, because the Bible tells us that we were created by Him and for Him. Time to maximize your health. Here's your host, Dr. Tony Ganem.
Merry Christmas! This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center in Orange County, California, and I want to welcome you back to Your Body for God Radio. This is the show that talks about honoring God with your body and your entire life, with all your energy because He deserves it. This thing called life, it is not a random thing that happens to us. No, life is much more than that. Life is something we need to steward over and invest in order to function as God designed us to for Him. That's what we live for. And for some people, the idea of living for Him sounds amazing, but sounds like less of an investment and more of a liability. They feel like they lack energy, they lack focus, they lack the ability to do many things. And so I understand that feeling. But what I want to do is help you understand what's going on with your body and what you can do about it. The whys behind the whats are the answers. The word diagnosis literally means a discernment, a knowing what's going on, the why behind the what. And in today's healthcare system, oftentimes a diagnosis is not a knowing, but a guess. Let's start you with this antibiotic and see how you do, so we can decide if we need to do something else next. I don't know why your cholesterol's high, but take this pill. Or I'm not sure why your blood pressure's high. Let's start with this pill, and then we'll go to this pill, and then we'll go to this pill. That's not okay. So I'm going to teach you the most important word that you can say to your doctor at any one time. The word that you need to say to your doctor when you're being diagnosed is why. Why is this happening? Get the mechanism and demand the mechanism. Understand exactly what's going on so that you have a treatment plan, so that you know where you're going to be and why you feel the way you do. I remember for many years having fatigue and not understanding why, and having digestive issues and not understanding why, and having a difficulty falling asleep and not understanding why, and feeling tired after meals and not understanding why, because all this time I was eating very healthily. And in pursuing my why, I found it. It was one thing that was causing all those. And I want to encourage you to find your why. Yesterday, for instance, I met with a gal who had a terribly high blood pressure. And at the same time, her pulse was at rest 110 beats per minute, which is almost twice as high as healthy. And, our heart beats somewhere on the order of 80,000 to 100,000 on the high side times per day. I mean, that's a lot of work that heart that God made, that is an amazing organ, is pumping. But her heart was pushing close to 200,000 times per day. That means that over a lifetime, her heart is going to wear out very fast. Her body is going to put abnormal amounts of pressure on the arteries as the heart pumps that hard and that often. And so we had to find out the why behind this. So I'll use this as an example. The first thing we did was a test called a heart rate variability test, where we looked at her brain waves. We looked at what's called the sympathetic nervous system outflow from the midbrain. And we looked at the left side versus the right side. And what we got was that her right side was functioning perfectly well, but her left side had a very high sympathetic outflow or sympathetic tone. And that means that the part of her brain that was causing her heart to race was abnormally high on one side, outputting huge amounts of a hormone called norepinephrine that was kind of stimulating her heart, stimulating her beats of her heart. And in addition to this, at the same time, she told me that she had a history of anemia. When I asked her what kind of anemia, she couldn't tell me, but she did tell me that she took iron. Well, if she had anemia at the moment yesterday, if she lacks oxygen, which is what anemia literally means, the inability to carry oxygen, if you lack oxygen, the body is going to respond by making sure that the heart pumps blood, which carries oxygen, more frequently, which will elevate your pulse at the same time. So her blood pressure and her pulse may have been elevated because her body needed more delivery of oxygen more frequently because she didn't have a high concentration of oxygen. We did an oxygen concentration test on her, and her perfusion of oxygen was very low, which gave us more of a clue that there was some sort of a anemic or hypoxia process going on in her body. But the question was, what is it that's causing this anemia? There's so many types of anemia, and it's not solved by giving everybody iron. Iron is one of the most toxic chemicals, one of the most inflammatory chemicals that you can put in the body if your anemia is not that of iron deficiency. But unfortunately, most doctors don't check for iron deficiency. They look for iron anemias. Your red blood cell count is low, your hemoglobin is low, your hematocrit is low, and your red blood cell sizes are low as well. That gives everybody a clue that there's an iron-related anemia going on. But the question is it from an iron blood loss? Or is it from low iron stores? Or is it from poor utilization of iron? Because if this person doesn't need more iron, if they have plenty stored and they're not using it, or they have plenty stored and they're not delivering it, then if you give this person too much iron, you can actually make them worse. You can actually inflame their body and cause oxidation. In chemistry, it's called the Fenton reaction. It's a very dangerous inflammatory chemical reaction that you can do if a person doesn't need iron. So in keeping with figuring out the why, what we did was we ran a CBC with what's called an RDW, and on top of that, we ran what's called a percent saturation and a ferritin count, transferrin, and a total iron binding capacity test, because I wanted to find out if this person's problem was really that of iron deficiency, iron loss, iron transportation issues. And one more thing we did was we actually did what's called a reticulocyte count, which tells me if she's losing blood one way or another. And we did these tests so that we can make a determination of the why behind the anemia that is apparently causing her heart to pump more frequently because she's hypoxic. She's not carrying oxygen very well. Now, understand this. It's never great that somebody's heart is pumping like that. That's very dangerous. But what's more important to understand is it was a healthy response to a bad problem. When your body can't deliver oxygen, you could die. So the body responding by pumping more frequently and making sure that you deliver oxygen is a very good thing. Just so we can be clear, if you went to the mountains today where the air is thinner, your body would have to pump blood more frequently, higher pulse, and harder, higher blood pressure, in order to deliver appropriate amounts of oxygen throughout your body. It would be a healthy response to an issue or to a physiological problem. We just don't want this to be a unhealthy response. And so you want to find the whys behind the whats and change somebody's life. Okay, we're going to take a little break, but we'll be right back. Hang on tight.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. BodyPro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
Hey, welcome back to Your Body for God Radio. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. I hope you can make our seminars. They are educational, they are free, and they change lives. And I would love to change your life. In 2013, we are going to have a seminar on January 5th, which is a Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And also on January 8th, we're going to do an exercise seminar at 6 p.m. at the Body Pro Wellness Center. You can always register at bodypro.com. That's bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. We look forward to helping you and giving you the answer why. Why am I not losing weight? Why do I feel low in energy? Why is it that I cannot be all that I can be just for me or my family, or most importantly, for God who created me with a great purpose? And He who has begun a good work in you is faithful. The most faithful thing, you can count on this, that He is faithful to make it happen all the way through. He is faithful according to the Word of God. But it begins with a knowing of what's going on, a true diagnosis. We live in an interesting time. Technology has never been higher. The ability to get answers has never been higher. The problem is, even though technology is at an all-time high and the ability to find out why is at an all-time high, insurance reimbursement is at an all-time low. That means that the tools that are available to get you answers are not being utilized today because insurance doesn't reimburse for it. So you see these tools being utilized in a research setting, in a drug trial setting, but you do not see these tools being utilized today in our healthcare settings. Special tests, like this is a special test. I do this test on myself, on people that I love, when I feel like there might be some sort of an autoimmune problem going on. When I see that the immune system might be destroying joints or causing some sort of a thyroid issue or some sort of metabolic issue, and I feel like it might be related to the immune system, especially if it has some sort of a genetic compound where family members tend to have this. What I do is a test called a reactivity screen to find out why. Now, in the medical world today, when you want to find out if there's an autoimmune problem, what they do is they actually do a tissue biopsy and they analyze to see how much damage has happened to that tissue. And if the answer is not enough, meaning that if not enough tissue has been damaged, you will not be told that you have an autoimmune process going on. For instance, if somebody were to do a test to see if you have what's called autoimmune adrenal issues, they have to see 90% tissue damage before they call it something, before they call it a disease process. And what that means is that your tissues have to be dead before they say there's a problem. That's not okay for me. So Dr. Aristo Vijdani, the most published immunologist in the medical literature, has created a lab called Cyrex Labs, and he has what's called a reactivity screen. It is not the medical standard yet. One day, God willing, it will be the medical standard, because what it does is it looks at how aggressive is your immune system attacking tissues rather than how much damage has been done to those tissues. In other words, this gives me an idea of, is your immune system aggressively attacking a tissue before 90% of the tissue has been killed? We get the idea of what's going on with the body before it's too late. Finding out the why behind the what is the key. It helps us figure out the how. How do we do something about this? Why is the key. I'm going to continue to encourage you throughout this show to use the word why more in 2013, to ask your doctors the why behind my low energy. Why am I always fatigued? Why do I have this joint pain? Why do I keep getting this infection all the time? Why am I no longer functioning at the highest level? Why do I have a thyroid problem? Did you know that 80 to 90% of the time in the United States of America, a thyroid problem is really an immune problem, an autoimmune problem, where your immune system is actually killing your thyroid? It's the most common cause in the United States of America of thyroid issues. And this is a well-known fact amongst endocrinologists and most doctors. But unfortunately, the tests that are done to determine if this is the why are not being performed because insurance will not pay for it. You're not worth it. The healthcare system says, why test these things when they don't have an answer for autoimmunity? So they say, take this pill and let's see how you do. And when that doesn't work, we'll up the prescription and see how you do. It's not a diagnosis anymore, folks. Diagnosis means discernment and knowing. This is now guessing. Here, let's take this dose, and if that doesn't work, we'll change the dose. It's about knowing, getting truth. There are tests that can be done. Thyroid peroxidase antibodies, thyroid globulin antibodies. These are reactivity tests that actually tell me your body's attacking your thyroid and what part of your thyroid is being affected, the enzyme or the gland itself. And these tests, these reactivity screens against the enzyme thyroid peroxidase that makes thyroid hormones and the thyroid tissue itself that stores the thyroid hormones, understanding the why behind this is so valuable to you. And there are natural things you can do to actually modulate the body, to improve how the body functions, to calm the immune system down, to actually balance and regulate the immune system. Things like taking appropriate levels of vitamin D and causing your T regulatory cells to actually regulate your immune system a little bit more so it doesn't attack your thyroid gland as much, and many more things that you can do. Understanding which foods mimic your thyroid tissue and cause an autoimmune reaction when you eat them against your thyroid gland. Understanding this kind of stuff can actually change your life, and it's the greatest investment you can do. Because the thyroid gland, for instance, is the gland that controls the energetics of every cell in your body, from your skin cells to your hair cells to your heart. It doesn't matter. This could make you so much healthier. And the cost of this kind of testing, the price tag behind it, is in the hundreds of dollars. But it could give you millions and trillions of dollars of life. You know, unfortunately, we're just so money conscious and think of everything as a cost, but sometimes when you use money, you can actually invest the money and make a wonderful thing happen for you and for God's kingdom. Investing the money into your health and getting an answer is very important, folks, because the truth is the healthcare system is not investing in your health. That's what healthcare means, caring for your health, but unfortunately, our healthcare system is caring for the sick. And the only people that can care for your health is you and the type of doctor who would actually look out for health markers that tell you the why behind the what. And the reality is, if you're not going to steward over your health, who is going to steward over your health? Your health matters. Hang on tight. We have more for you coming up.
Coming up next, more with Dr. Tony Ganem here on Your Body for God. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. God's created an amazing body and you're designed to thrive. I believe that if every cell in your body were thriving, they'd have to use fat like crazy to thrive like that. And I have hundreds of patients who live this way, burning fat and thriving. Would you like to be full of energy and burning fat at the same time? Well, I'd like to invite you to our free seminar titled Your Body for God. We'll talk about weight loss, the thyroid, metabolism, cholesterol, blood sugar, hormones, sleep, and more. We're next to Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa. It's a complete health and wellness seminar. It's God-honoring and it's free, but seating is limited. So register now at bodypro.com or call 888-300-1888. If you've been looking for a health solution with godly principles and incredible results, then call 888-300-1888 or simply register at bodypro.com. BodyPro. Honor God, find the cause, and be blessed.
Welcome back to Your Body for God. Once again, here's Dr. Tony Ganem.
All right, welcome back. Segment 3 of Your Body for God Radio. My name is Dr. Tony Ganem, and I hope you're enjoying this show. We're talking about the whys behind the whats. And understanding why behind your diagnosis can help you formulate a treatment plan, which is a how. Not just a take this pill kind of formula, but actually understanding the underside, the insides of what's really happening to you so you can make a difference, not just now, but for the rest of your life. We have 70 to 90, sometimes 120 years to maximize our lives for God to get His best from us. I'm not sure about you, but I do want to hear God say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. I gave you a life. You did much with it." And I'm going to do much with it because I'm going to put a lot of energy and figure out what's going on with my energy and normalize my energy so I can function at the highest level. Understanding my metabolism fully, understanding my energetics. That's what metabolism is how my body makes energy from the fuels in my body, the body fat that I have, and the carbohydrates that I eat. The sources of fuels and how I turn them into energy for every one of my 100 trillion cells in my body to function at the optimal level. That's what I like to help people do in my practice. I coach people to health. I do a nutritional alternative medicine practice. I coach people to health, figure out what's going on with them. But I begin by teaching people at seminars. I give free information on how to change your life. They are 3-hour seminars full of information. Because the word doctor actually means teacher. That's what it means, and so I take it very seriously. I want to make sure that I'm teaching people how to steward over their health, how to take care of themselves, how to get them the answers that they deserve, the whys behind the whats, so that they can change their lives forever and function optimally for God. Then I'm going to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and you're going to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and we'll both be using our body for God. And that's what life is about. But it begins with education and an understanding of why is this happening in my body. Commonly, people come to me with high cholesterol. They're afraid of that cholesterol level because they're being told by pharmaceutical ads and their doctors that cholesterol is the most dangerous thing. I was listening to a cholesterol ad on TV the other day, one of those crazy ads that ends with a whole bunch of lawyer talk, a million miles an hour, and a whole bunch of smiles on the TV at the same time. You know what I'm talking about. And one of the things that the doctor on the commercial was saying is they were talking about a medication that in trials got their cholesterol down under 100. Folks, if your cholesterol gets to 100, I would be very worried about your brain. Your brain is mostly made of cholesterol. And that's why lots of people, when they go on these cholesterol medications, their brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to. But your hormones, a lot of your hormones are made from cholesterol, and your vitamin D and your bile and your ability to digest things properly and get rid of toxins and get rid of estrogens, these all come from cholesterol. And the process to make cholesterol, that's how you make coenzyme Q10, the thing that saves your heart, that protects your heart. It's an antioxidant. And without coenzyme Q10, you can't burn fat. So oftentimes people taking cholesterol medications would have a really hard time to burn fat. And the real question that a person should have when they have high cholesterol is, what is causing my body to make a lot of cholesterol? Instead of, you have high cholesterol, here's a pill, take it. Finding the why behind it is so important. And folks, there are plenty of whys behind it. This is something I do all the time. I do what's called a lipoprotein electrophoresis test to actually find out if there's a genetic component, or is it because of blood sugar, or is it because of too much fat in the diet? Also, sometimes it's because the body's trying very desperately to make vitamin D, or there's a lot of inflammation. When the body has lots of inflammation, your body will make a lot of cortisol, the anti-inflammatory hormone. And cortisol is made from cholesterol. So often it's because of inflammation that cholesterol goes up as a healthy response to an unhealthy situation. Just like that oxygen thing we were talking about earlier in the show, if you were in a stressful situation, I would expect your blood pressure to go up. If you were in the mountains where the air is rare, I would expect your pulse and blood pressure to go up as a body's mechanism to deliver more oxygen more frequently through the blood. These are healthy responses to physiological stresses. And if your body absolutely needed more cholesterol because there's inflammation, or there's some sort of immune issue that needs more vitamin D that comes from cholesterol, or there's some sort of estrogen issue that needs more cholesterol, these would be healthy responses that we want to mitigate as fast as possible. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying I want your cholesterol as high as possible and that it's great that your cholesterol is high. What I'm saying is your body might be elevating your cholesterol to mitigate something. Let's find what that something is and change your life forever without taking a medication that will lower your energy and affect your estrogens and your testosterones and make you feel like half a human being. Finding the cause, finding the why behind the what is the key. Now, in today's society, in today's healthcare system, the why is not even looked for. It's take this cholesterol statin pill and lower that cholesterol as soon as possible, regardless of what it does to your health, regardless of what it does to your energy, regardless of what it does to your hormones, regardless. We can't change the entire healthcare system, but we can change how the healthcare system affects you or me. I can make sure that I'm testing certain things with regards to my health to change my life, and you can do the same. We can't change the whole system because unfortunately the system is dealing with a high demand and low money at this moment. But you can change your system. You can change how the system approaches your health by asking the question why and not settling until you get the answer. Or by doing the testing yourself and figuring out what is going on. Figuring out the why can change your life forever. It's my pleasure to be with you on a weekly basis. I'm hoping you enjoy this show. Please tell your friends about this show and visit us at bodypro.com to join one of our free seminars, learn more, steward over your health, become all you can be for the one who created you to be all for him. God bless you. Have a fantastic week. This is Dr. Tony Ganem from the Body Pro Wellness Center. Many blessings to you and Merry Jesusmas.
You've been listening to Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem, a doctor of chiropractic and a certified holistic nutritionist. To learn more about Dr. Tony's free nutritional health and weight loss seminars, go to bodypro.com. That's bodypro.com. The views and opinions expressed on today's program are those of Dr. Tony Ganem's and not meant to take the place of your doctor's advice. Your Body for God with Dr. Tony Ganem is sponsored by the Body Pro Wellness Center.